Okay, it looks like we are live. It's Monday night. Welcome everybody. My name is Niko. This is Monday Night Consensus number 24, and today we're gonna have a really special panel, really special show, multiple different announcements, and yeah, we have 5 people in the panel. We are kind of like the people from different backgrounds, different angles to the blockchain, and we're going to have this loose topic of how constructive disagreement can actually be very good, and how it is the only reason why we still don't live in the caves. And this comes from the fact that I've noticed that in the blockchain and the cryptocurrency scene, it is often difficult to get under the same roof, kind of like this distributed ledger, kind of private blockchain people and Bitcoin maximalists. So that's kind of what we have here. And we have some people who are standing the middle ground. And the great thing is we can all work together, and we are working all together. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But first, before we get any more into that, I urge you to give us a like if everything works. If everything doesn't work, if my voice, if you can't hear me or anything, I appreciate if you can tell me in the chat. That would be great. And if everything is okay, then I would really like the panel to do a very, very short introduction, because we have 6 people here. We do have some regulars, but we also have some brand new people like Markus and Mikko. So why don't we start? Why don't we start by Markus? Markus, you are running the kind of another blockchain association in Finland, which is directed more at companies. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about your background and how did you get into blockchain, and why are you working together with Konsensus?
Yeah, hi, I'm Markus Lehtonen, and the blockchain scenery in Finland isn't too big. We started blockchain forum like a year and a half ago. Actually, we went in December 2017 first live, and we have been teaching blockchain topics. We have regularly once a month monthly meetings, and after doing this like 5 months, we decided or we got together with Konsensus and other ones from which we tell more. My background is I'm an industry man and strongly in information security. I'm running information security business as well as being within digi rock stars like in blockchain scene.
Awesome, thank you, Markus. And yeah, like I said in the beginning, we are planning a major event that's going to be the biggest event in Finland so far in blockchain and Bitcoin, and we have some of the panelists here planned for that. I think we can publish the program today as well later. But Max, you're going to be one of the stars of the show, so to speak. Why don't you tell everybody? Well, I think everybody, all our viewers already know who you are. So why don't you just tell what do you think about this kind of thing? I would say you're a Bitcoin maximalist. So how come you are working together with these old world people and going to this same exhibition to actually talk about the Bitcoin blockchain? How does that feel, and do you think it's going to be beneficial?
Oh, absolutely. It will be tremendously beneficial. The term Bitcoin maximalism, to me, doesn't really depict exactly what I think Bitcoin maximalism stands for, which is just a fundamental understanding of the importance of sound money and the importance of having a truly free and libre money, which can be used by individual and is not being inflated away from him. And that is what Bitcoin is fundamentally all about. Individual power, right? Run a Bitcoin full node and don't get your money inflated away from you. And you also have to realize, though, that this is 100% about competition. Bitcoin is open source. So we want and we need to try as many different approaches towards achieving this goal as possible. So I'm all for the competition and different protocols competing, because only when we have variance, when we have anarchy in money, only then can we truly realize our goal of having a sound money. So competition and discussion and debate is fundamentally important.
Yeah, well said. Couldn't agree more. We also have Mikko Alasaarela, the AI expert, who's been on my show as well a couple times in Finnish, though. Mikko, are you still with us?
Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you, but your picture is frozen. Yeah, same question. You are also scheduled to appear on the stage, which is awesome. We're going to be talking about evolution of money and technology, and AI is a big part of that as well. What do you think about this upcoming event? Are you excited?
Of course. Yeah, so my forte is definitely the cross-link of artificial intelligence and blockchains. Because, of course, I'm running this company in Bot that is in the crossroads of artificial intelligence and blockchains. So now what I see as the thing that specifically also relates to my current quest of changing the tax laws in Finland regarding blockchains and cryptocurrencies. It's related to the fact that in the future, when we see the artificial intelligence gain more powers, it can be implemented as autonomous economic agents that are basically running a lot of different variants of businesses on the background. They actually will require something like cryptocurrencies and blockchains to be able to function, because fundamentally using fiat currencies usually always requires some kind of human contract in the middle, and AI is able to get us further from that. And I actually made the prediction in 2017 that by the end of 2020 we will see the first company go from 0 to billion in less than a week, and that was related to my thinking that a combination of powerful algorithms with the tokenized APIs on the blockchains will enable us to create companies that autonomously harvest value from all over the world in a very rapid succession that defies human understanding. But that's my starting point and a viewpoint to the whole cryptocurrency blockchain topic.
Yeah, that is awesome. I love to hear people talk about AI, and Mikko is definitely one of those guys, and Elon Musk is another one of those guys. You guys should, if you didn't watch his interview with Joe Rogan, you should. It was pretty amazing. Without going more off topic, what about you mentioned about lobbying, which I'm glad you brought it up, because thank you so much for doing that. You've been doing great work forever, and that's precisely one of the things that can result in this kind of like cross-platform cooperation and cross-ideology cooperation, because we all can benefit from beneficial regulation. So that's definitely something bridging. Actually, for all
I
of
would
us.
like to insert one thing about this.
Please.
When I started blogging about this topic of cryptocurrency taxation and virtual currency taxation in Finland, there was a lot of skeptics saying that it's complete waste of time. Like nothing will change, and people were like, the government will not understand, and the bureaucrats will not have any idea how this works, and it's not going to go anywhere. And I just blogged about it, and then if I look at what has happened since I wrote about the topics, a lot of those blogs that I made on different social media platforms have been shared to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. And then I've been approached initially by one of the members of parliament who actually made a written question to the cabinet about this topic, which was, of course, swiftly dismissed. But then the tax administration approached and asked me to put together a consortium to visit them, to explain them like what went wrong. We had that meeting on 17th of September, and I think it was a very constructive and good discussion. And then I was approached by the Committee for the Future of the Parliament on drafting a statement about this topic so that they can actually start fixing the legislation. So I think I'm actually quite optimistic that there's enough interest and enough understanding building up currently in the government that they are actually going to do the right thing. And hopefully it happens fast enough. So yeah, I mean, sometimes it does matter that you speak up and you express your voices. It doesn't help if you just keep complaining on the forums that these bureaucrats are stupid. I mean, and that will get you absolutely nowhere. It's better to talk and and constructively create this conversation and try to work the things out.
Well, you certainly made a believer out of me. I didn't think it will move at all that fast, and I'm positively surprised as well. And kudos for you for sticking it up, and definitely gonna help you any way we can. And yeah, good work on that. But more about this lobbying thing and stuff. So the rest of the panel, Jussi, why don't you tell everybody what's your angle?
Yeah, sure. So nice to be here in this is a kind of a very great company. So my name is Jussi Simolin. I have a teacher background, 17 years in big corporations like Nokia and Airbus, and now 3 years as a startup entrepreneur. And my take on to this blockchain is like a normal person. So I represent the people, the vast majority of the people that really do not know so much about the blockchain. So I'm here mainly on the interest in blockchain, but then from the, let's say, from the citizen point of view, or from normal person point of view, and my ideal situation would be that there is enough education of different kinds, so that people would have the awareness and interest related to blockchain as a positive thing, and through that make a breakthrough for all of us.
All right, so we have one more Mikko on the panel. Go ahead and let everybody know who you are, what do you do?
Yeah, thanks for this opportunity. Great company here. My name is Mikko Valjakka, and I work currently on software development, software architect, but my another area is education. I set up a blockchain workshop for programmers nearly 2 years ago, and since then I've been not only volunteering blockchain forum association a little bit, but giving lectures, especially for finance industry about blockchain and speaking for blockchain and working on blockchain enlightenment. Yeah, thank you.
Blockchain enlightenment. I really like that term. That's fantastic. I'm going to put that on my LinkedIn profile as well. Blockchain or Bitcoin enlightenment. Yeah, this is the crowd, people. This is basically the Finnish Blockchain Alliance you're watching right now. And if you like the idea, what we're doing here, please like and subscribe to the channel. And we're gonna try and make more videos together if Markus and the gang are willing. Well, we certainly enjoy talking on camera about these things. And yeah, hopefully we can get the production quality up a little bit. I'm sorry about the choppy images. It looks like my internet connection is not handling the six person panel super well, so that's something to keep in mind. I hope you can hear the sound well. If not, then maybe we can try to cut the images or the videos or something. But for now, it seems like the sound is fine, so we're just gonna continue like this. But yeah, let me just tell you, I'm super excited to work with you guys, and we can get a lot of leverage from this kind of, for example, Konsensus. Our association is quite small and quite grassroots, and we work with mostly with the entry-level people, the regular people, like what Jussi said that he represents. And whereas the bigger guys here in this panel work with the big corporations and financial institutions and banks, and we can kind of like the leverage splashes over onto us, and we get to also present our points of view. And we've had this kind of like three leaps forward kind of a campaign in Finland, a lobbying campaign that we've been targeting the reporters and politicians and people of influence, and basically try to let them know how the startups of the scene are escaping, not only escaping Finland, but also we're not luring any new startups in here, and that's obviously a very bad thing in the long run. So that's one thing that we're trying to do here, and to that end, I think there's been enough teasing about the blockchain summit. So I think we're gonna just go ahead and publish it here and talk a little bit about what we're gonna talk there. Are you guys okay with that? Should we publish it right now?
Yeah, I think that's okay. I would still like to jump a little bit into the Mikko's thing that we really did a big tournament after second jump and went and visited all the state offices, you could really say all of them, and with the tax authorities as well, that we are still ongoing negotiations, because we still have a chance to have 3 additional days as an hackathon within this summit. The summit is the 2-day summit, the 21st and 22nd November, but it would be prior this if we get the finances together. And the topic is like the world's or Europe's best regulatory framework for blockchain and cryptos, inclusive ICOs. And it looks still that we have a chance, and we'll be reporting from this that if we get the hackathon together, so it would change our summit. Instead being like 3 days, it's a 5-day event, and there is then much more to report. But still there is plenty of report from the 2 days now. So I hand it over to you, Niko.
Great additions. Thank you, Markus, and thank you really truly for putting in the effort to put up this event. We've been just merely helping with the program, and yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and hold on. I'll share the screen if I can. Now you should be able to see it. If you can't see it, let me know in the chat. So this is a rough outline. It's not, the times are not finalized, but the structure should be pretty much that. And this is, mind you, this is the second day. I do not have the first day program here. I can of course pull it up from Markus's website if you want, Markus. But for now, we're just going to focus on the part that we are doing together, kind of like a Finnish Blockchain Alliance. So we have Helsinki Hall, which is going to be manned by Consensus Power. And also, I'm happy to say that Consensus has secured Henry Prade from Prasos. He's going to be talking about future money. So that's going to be super exciting. So if you don't know who Henry Prade is, he's not only in Finland, but in the world, one of the first Bitcoin entrepreneurs. So definitely somebody who is in the know of this kind of a digital money. So very happy to have him there. We also have Max talking about Bitcoin as the most successful blockchain. Or is it such?
I don't think you can shut me up about talking about Bitcoin. So of course that is something that that I will talk about at the conference as well. And I'm really grateful to get this opportunity because it is quite an important topic. Because yes, there are other applications for decentralized and distributed databases, and especially decentralized and distributed organizations, right? Starfish organizations. There's a lot of integration here that can be done. But nevertheless, Bitcoin, as Niko said, is just super successful. It's working, and I use it every day, and it is perfectly a incredibly well and good money, and many opportunities here. So it absolutely deserves a spot on this already really good conference.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for the addition. And maybe you can see there's kind of a theme towards the end of the second day. We start with Max's talk about Bitcoin, and if it's really the most successful blockchain. Maybe you can guess the answer to that. in our opinion, of course. Then we go into future money, which is probably going to be kind of a bit Bitcoin-ish talk by Henry Prade, and then we are going to cement the whole thing with the Sound Money panel, which is what Max mentioned earlier. I'm going to be moderating that myself, and hopefully I didn't get a confirmation from Mikko. I'm sorry, your name is still there, but hopefully you will be there, Max will be there, Henry will be there, Raphael will be there, you know, from Konsensus Network, James here, and a surprise participant, which we're not going to disclose right now. So super excited about that. That's going to be super interesting. We're also going to have some hands-on stuff here. So after the launch, we're going to have a DApp, decentralized application workshop run by Aleksi Meldo, who is our the founder of WeEconomy and lead developer at Blockfish and NX Solar, and he's probably going to demo the WeEconomy DApp there. Hopefully we'll be ready by then, and that's going to be super exciting to see how it works. And at the same time, we're going to have their wallet workshop run by Anton Räsänen, who is a board member of Konsensus, very knowledgeable Bitcoin OG, and very knowledgeable with the wallet technology and security technology. So he's going to, I don't know exactly what's it going to entail, but you'll have to ask him. Probably going to be interesting, and you're likely going to learn how to use hardware wallet securely. So definitely something interesting to check out. We also have of course, Mikko, like I mentioned, talking about AI and the Internet of Things. He's on the Konsensus side because he's been also working on other Konsensus things, and we felt like it fit the theme here. Mikko, do you want to say a couple things about your pitch here?
Yeah, so I kind of already gave a short introduction when I introduced myself to this topic of blockchain AIs and autonomous economic agents. That's going to be definitely my main topic, and that actually directly relates to the IoT stuff as well, because when we go into this self-driving cars and and all these other autonomous agents going around, we need to have a ability for these things to transact with the outside world. And already today, we see many of these car companies and other players in the industry figuring out means of doing these transactions using blockchain. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. And well, let's put it this way: humanity will not be prepared for this.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. So yeah, and the day is going to be kicked off by me. I'm going to kind of host the Helsinki Hall for the day, and I'm going to start by talking about Starfish and Spider organizations, which is one of my favorite topics. Of course, decentralized organization models, flat organization, stuff like that. Giving some examples, like I mentioned, the NX Solar. I always talk about those projects, WeEconomy, Blockfish, basically companies that everybody's on the same page from their free will, no massive hierarchy or anything like that. Just people building stuff. So that's going to be probably something interesting to see. I'm going to just finish up my spiel by reading the description for the day 2. So the day 2 is going to be, at least the Helsinki Hall, is going to be the anarchy, money, and technology. The second day in Helsinki Hall is all about evolution of technology and money. Learn what's a Starfish organization, digital sound money, and how decentralization can shape the future. Those crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that do. So I hope that reference is not lost to anybody. But I feel like this is great because we need to think differently. We need to take risk and try things. And this is precisely what the Konsensus program part is about. And now I would like to give Markus the chance to talk about the other side, the proverbial coin, so to speak.
Yeah, actually, I go still one step more back. Like there are 2 days, and the first day is kind of the corporate day, and this is now within the second day. And like the
would you like me to pull up the first day program for you?
Yeah, actually, it would be maybe good
Yeah, I'll
because
do
it
that.
would bring kind of the total scope that we see a little bit, that we want to kind of engage all the forces in Finland. That we have like 3 halls. The first main hall will be is called Nordic Hall. Then we have an industry hall, and those are more Finnish internal business. But we have as well an East Gateway Hall that is bringing us visitors. It will be Russian-speaking hall, this East Gateway Hall, and we really have great speakers in the first day as well, opening like the thing that we want to show Finland like as a better place, that so far Finland hasn't been taking any stance on the like in the European market or in the global market, though we have a quite good geopolitical place here, and we are quite certain the soup what we are boiling here together, that will come into the attention of the in Finland, that as well the whole thing and idea why we did this event was as well that this is prior to the European community. The Finland is the chair from the 1st of 7th 2019, and we still have good time before that to make a big change here in the within the Finnish decision makers and in Finnish public's mind, that here is something really worthwhile to take closer look. And I'm quite certain that the recent days have really shown this, that this is happening. Yeah, so the first day is corporate day, and you can find the full program and all the presenters from there, and they speak to themselves.
Sorry, I'm still, Markus, looking for the program. I couldn't find it, so just keep talking. I'll find it for you.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry, may I interrupt? Please check Blockchain Forum EU.
Yeah, that's a possibility too, that to dig it out from there. But to the what you can read from the papers and what we could really do a little bit value add is kind of to talk on top of that, to describe the events a bit. Well, there is a lot of things happening behind the scenes, and it is this orchestrating that what we do for the legislation with this hackathon thing, why we have like this East Gateway event, that what kind of design. I can just like tell that it will lead to the second day, that we are the second day. There is as well this Helsinki hall, and we'll be expecting a lot of startups starting in Helsinki, and we are kind of showing the current situation in 57 days when this all starts to happen. So I can guarantee there is plenty of things, really big news around and within this week. So I think and hope, Niko, we can concentrate as well a little bit to how to engage people to this event as well, that what chances we have to that how to really to have the community like maybe as well present still once more. We could do one more happening as well, and with live audience as well. That's up to you to decide. But I think there is a great substance here that's what we can share. And from my point, I could hand it over that it's not me talking too much.
No, that's great, and yeah, sorry I took so long to find the actual program, but I'm gonna definitely drop the links in the description. This is just out today, so it's brand new, and some of the scheduling and the website's maybe not working perfectly yet, but bear with us. And definitely, like Markus said, it's a great opportunity for all of us to get more exposure. So if you know anybody who might be interested in something like more traditional financial technology, maybe this is their gateway to the actual blockchain world, and this is our way to give the best possible education to people who are interested in that and maybe don't fully yet understand all the possibilities, and on the other hand also to lure the people who in the first place weren't thinking about necessarily to get into blockchain but are interested in technology and finances. So this I feel like for the day one that would be a crucial part of the audience. What do you guys think? Just feel free to jump in.
Yeah, so the blockchain event in itself is one thing. The conversation in general about these topics is another thing, and I think there's still a little bit too much thinking among the crypto enthusiasts that they should stay silent and in the background, and not even expose their identities to the public, which kind of doesn't help, if you're trying to bring awareness to these kind of topics. I realized that just by opening my mouth, there's a lot of people who are willing to listen what I have to say, and I haven't been in blockchains like nearly as long as many of you guys. Like I started like 1.5 years ago.
That was about the same as me. So I think a lot of us are rather new. I think maybe from this group, Max has been the longest. But Max, you haven't been that long in Bitcoin either, have you?
Oh no, not really. Quite recently, actually. It's been only 2016, early 2016, and that's when I first fell down the rabbit hole after finally watching my first video by Andreas Antonopoulos, who really kicked me down the rabbit hole, and I fell down hard. And Bitcoin doesn't move in human time; it moves in block time. Block time is like 7 times, 10 times faster. And so this is just, you learn quite a lot in quite a short period of time if you want to dedicate your human ingenuity to this problem, the problem of sound money and this distributed organization. So doing this is a lot of fun and definitely a wild ride.
Yeah, absolutely. This goes to show that if you want to do something, you can do something. You can do anything. If you go to Konsensus Network YouTube channel, for example, there's a video called "Short History of Cryptocurrency in 8 minutes." That's made by a guy who's been in cryptocurrencies for 2 or 3 months, and it's a very knowledgeable, a very good video. I really like that. So if you want to do something, you just need to start with whatever you have, whatever you know, and then just keep accumulating. And if it's something you really like, well, this is for us. It doesn't feel like work. Not really. This is it feels like we are on a mission, and that's precisely what we are doing here. So as long as we get to talk about Bitcoin and freedom and all those good things, then I guess we will be satisfied. But
so since this podcast was about the disagreements and other things, so I'm definitely the kind of camp that thinks that the Bitcoin's only reason of having its value is its gateway status for the other cryptos. So So I'm happy to present this viewpoint, like as a how to say, like the contrarian viewpoint to this Bitcoin maximalist crowd.
Yeah, I was actually going to fish for that, but yeah, thank you for bringing it up. Yeah, this is great because there's no real answer, there's no true answer to any of these things. This is
so my thesis is this, and you know, this is like regarding this topic is that the utility of the virtual currencies or cryptocurrencies in this case is dependent on the, as I said, you know, how on the adoption of the currency in the first place, so how many people have been adopting it, and then its use cases. So Bitcoin, without the use case of being the main gateway currency to cryptos and the trading currency against which all of the other cryptocurrencies are being traded, will not have the value that it has today. That's my theory. And of course, the fact that lots of the ETF funds are coming into play, and you know, and creating like this kind of like external funds for Bitcoin as well, will help the trading volumes as well. And you know, as long as those trading volumes are going to keep up, you know, I think the Bitcoin is going to stay and have value. Once they go down, if they go down, I mean, I'm sure they may never go down, but you know, if they go down, I think the value of Bitcoin will go down with it. So I'll let the Bitcoin guys to offer other opinions, but that's mine.
Max, you want to jump in?
Well, the ETF is definitely interesting, right? We're trying to intermingle now the old system with the new system. I'm curious to see how or if it is going to work out. I personally don't think it's too interesting. It is absolutely, it is interesting, but there's so much cool stuff going on in Bitcoin that you know, I can barely keep up with the interesting stuff. And you know, the old financial system, it's cool, but I like Bitcoin. So I'm much more excited for stuff like the Lightning Network, or stuff like you know, more privacy, more fungibility, or you know, just scaling improvements. That is going to be amazing. What is to come.
I would like to go into this Lightning Network thingy. Like, so we just implemented our currency on Stellar blockchain, and I've been doing a few transactions with the Stellar, and you know, it's been between 3 and 5 seconds confirmation time for all of those transactions. It feels like using a credit card. You know, it's pretty much the same experience. And when you have these kind of experiences and you realize that this actually is what you can do on a regular basis, transferring assets from asset to other without any kind of external sidechain structures or this kind of settlement layers, it just feels that you know, this should be the way it is. So Lightning Network is definitely an improvement, but it's not a solution for ultimately long-term use cases, in my opinion. But yeah, it does help.
But is it really a goal to be like a credit card? You know, is that something to strive for, that we have a centralized channel of payment or 2 channels of payment that we have to rely on? And
absolutely. So in the autonomous economic agents are doing transactions with computers, actually the speed of transaction does matter a lot. Because if you want to do transactions from, let's say, self-driving car and some other places, you want to have it a very lightweight transaction and with almost zero cost of doing the transaction. It's a very important part of those kind of economies.
If I can jump in as a granddad here, that we have been 8 years following already from the information security point of view, like what does this phenomenon blockchain do? And it does a lot of things. And yeah, we talk a lot now from the money angle, but like Mikko described there as well, there are really big changes coming in the all supply chains and all the things. That the strongest thing is here that in the history of IT with the Bitcoin, you can guarantee now that the integrity of the data stays. So that is like something that makes things work differently than earlier. And now we start to see, and in this our event, we will bring the big picture. That's why from the corporates that have already done that, what they have done, what kind of picture, and how, for example, there in Finland, still companies produce 380 million business-to-business invoices to each others, and their average price is 65 euros. And when this stuff starts to be automated now, and we'll see in the event like steps to go to this direction and what will happen, it will happen like half of those people that work to create those bills now in offices. So there is a big change, and we would want to look at big change as well in the regulatory framework as well, that from which end and which way it starts to unveil this whole thing that of future, that what the blockchain changes in for the future, and this is kind of the big picture that hopefully people don't miss it, that we still can keep a clear understanding to this big picture as well. And that's why we have kind of like these 30 people or 28 people so far that are presenting their angle, and so, but just wanted to bring this angle here as well.
Yeah, that is a good point. The transactions between corporations or within a big corporation as well, and microtransactions and stuff like that. But the only thing is that wouldn't a centralized database be better either way? What do you actually need the blockchain for? I mean, are we strictly talking about if we're talking about just transaction speed or capacity? I mean, and if you're going to have a centralized party, like for example, Mikko, you mentioned that you moved to Stellar, and well, I mean, Stellar is a centralized operator. I mean, somebody picks those validators, no matter how many there are. It's too little. I wouldn't call it decentralized. So if the decentralization is not the goal, what is? That's what I struggle to find out most, and to me personally, it comes out mostly printing your own money, which is understandable, which is an understandable reason to have your own token. What do you say?
I mean, yeah, so the public blockchains versus private blockchains, that's for one thing. You know, of course, I just listened to this chairman of the IOTA Foundation in Berlin last week. And then what he was saying is, because lots of people are complaining about this coordinator thing that makes the IOTA centralized for the time being. He just said that while as a lot of these blockchains have been evolving rapidly, they are still so early at this point that a lot of them actually require these kind of centralized mechanisms just to keep them alive until they are big enough that they don't need those things. He actually went far enough to say that even for the first 2 years in Bitcoin, there was actually this kind of centralized mechanism to keep it up and running until it was strong enough to go by itself. So he said that every blockchain kind of has it. So I see like things like IOTA and Stellar becoming decentralized over time, you know, and there's a clear target for those kind of things to go that way. I mean, that's probably not true with Ripple. That doesn't even look like they're trying to be decentralized in any means, but there's definitely lots of blockchains out there that are on the path of becoming more decentralized, but not yet far enough that people will recognize them as fully decentralized operations. Why we need the public blockchain in general is that I had this conversation with this bank blockchain guy in Finland. I don't name him now, but you know, like this conversation was about like whether the public blockchains are useful for anything. Of course, the position of the bank guy was that no, that only private blockchains matter, and you know, and they're using like this on currencies is kind of like in his opinion was useless, and you know, and he thinks it goes away. And then I discuss about their own blockchain projects, which kind of makes sense. Some of them, you know, like you have in Finland this project between banks that they can share the real estate transaction data with each other in a way that it syncs between the banks, so that every bank gets the information regarding the real estate transactions that they are party to, and if they are not party to, they don't get that piece of information. That makes sense to me. But however, then I said, okay, let's say that you want to do the same repository together with Russia. How do you do that? well, an awkward silence ensued, and I said, okay, here you go. Like, I mean, when you do this centralized like systems like this, you know, you always have to be within one specific legislation with a specific set of players that you can trust inherently. And if you don't have parties like that in the party, then you kind of have no other choice than having a blockchain under it that is a public and where everybody can participate. That's the only way you can create like environment for everybody to participate, irrespective of their regulatory environments or societies or countries or cultures or whatever they have. So that's why we need those.
Lovely talk, Mikko. Thank you very much for that. Can I, Niko, ask that if we would get in the next hour a little bit into the thing that you're expecting kind of 500 people for the first day to the corporate day and 1,000 people to the second day. And in the second day, the biggest, one of the biggest thing or the biggest thing I think for the marketing is that we will have this eco pitch thing, and we will have a jury in Finland never before that these guys have given 300 or $3,000 million VC money in the past years, and so there is a very powerful team. We want to walk international individuals, the best ones. This is like singing contest, but who can enter, they will be directly coming to the final. So we will, I hope that it was launched today, but I didn't get the news that we have this open, that we can start to collect like people wanting to come to the eco pitch, and hopefully there is tens or hundreds of thousands already guaranteed for those people who come and do a good pitch in the occasion. So that's the goal. And how do we get there? Like, that would be interesting topic today, for example, from this, that we get some value add, and as well I would hope that other participants to get a little bit into this discussion as well, that in the summit, that how do we can't compete to do the biggest event, like there is one just weeks or is it month before with 8,000 people going to St. Petersburg, what's only 300-400 kilometers from here. So we can compete with quality, we can compete with other things that are special in Helsinki, that we will have the Helsinki topics strongly here, and Helsinki as one of the main supporters to this Helsinki Summit 2018. So if you would share a little bit the things that who would want to say something, that how we can get and make amazing eco-pitch happening in Helsinki.
Thank you, Markus, for bringing that up. That totally slipped my mind. That was that should have been a big part of this show, but I totally blanked out on that. So definitely, yeah, guys, in the program I didn't mention, we're going to have an ICO pitch session, which is going to be kind of like idols, but for ICOs. So if you have like a crazy altcoin project or an idea or anything, you can just come out and pitch it to the judges. I don't know how many judges are there going to be, maybe 6, I think. And there's going to be 2 different batches, 40 minutes each. And I think we can fit tens at least of all kinds of projects. And there's going to be actual VC money. And of course, the judges are going to be investors. So it's kind of big, kind of like a Lion's Den idols kind of a thing. So we're definitely looking to get some marketing value out of that. So if you could just go ahead and like and share this video and let everybody know that we're going to have this kind of thing. I'm not sure if it has been done before. We're definitely going to be streaming the whole thing. So that's going to be super interesting. And if there's a chance to be a part of the judges, I think we do have some talks overlapping, but that would be certainly great. yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? I would love to hear the whole panel's idea on this. Like, let's have a bunch of ICOs and these projects to pitch their idea, see if it's any good. You know, dig it apart right there and then give the feedback right away. Sounds pretty good to me.
Yes, it is important to keep the conversation going and start the debate, because this is, after all, right, it's an investment, it's a fundraising, and we have to do due diligence, right? This is something that should not be invested in lightly. There are many risks involved and also many possible gains to achieve. So proper due diligence is very much important. And after all, this is the new type of fundraising that is now possible. ICOs are one version. There are other types as well, but this is fundamentally a new problem that we have to solve. How can we, in this digital age of cyberspace, organize ourselves and fund our ventures? And this is critical to talk about. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, regarding this fundraising, I do think that it's probably the time for the traditional ICO is kind of over, and I think what Finland should do is to focus on creating a flexible legal framework for security token offerings within the crowdfunding laws that there's already in. Like, Finland is actually doing quite well on the crowdfunding side compared to many other countries. I think there's like 4 or 5 bigger crowdfunding providers. I do think that they should be flexible enough regulation that you can just file for a crowdfunding round, with the proper regulator, with the reasonable cost and non-bureaucracy, and then you should be able to do a security token offering to these things within specific rules. And I think those rules that are being created for this will make it more safe for people to participate in token offerings, because then there's like some kind of regulatory framework protecting the investors. I think such an approach, when well done, could actually propel a lot of local startups, both in blockchain side as well as technologically, to develop the new technologies for the global markets.
Yes, I do agree that we should focus on having maybe even some sort of regulatory sandbox for blockchain and Bitcoin projects, just to try out new things. If it's, and I'm sure it is, difficult to actually change legislation in any kind of a short order. Maybe there could be some kind of a crypto valley that we are also trying to advocate with the Finnish Blockchain Alliance, that we would have precisely this kind of network of like-minded people building something really awesome. For example, in Helsinki, and I think we have something similar there. The startup culture is great, in my opinion, in Helsinki, and I do think that we could have a shot at becoming some sort of a crypto valley. Maybe I think there's going to be many crypto valleys, because it's already getting out of hand. There's one in Malta and one in Switzerland. There's one in every continent soon, I'm sure. But of course, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have one. We should definitely be part of this movement, and that's why lobbying is also one important thing. But then again, I would personally, I'm directing my effort to the grassroots, because I do believe also that it's important to address the regular everyday user who are going to make up the vast majority of all users. So if we can speak to those people and we can get them interested, then I feel like everything else kind of has to bend the majority ways. Jussi, what do you think? You haven't been saying anything in a while, and you classify yourself as a so-called normie, if I'm correct. Does this sound like something realistic to you?
Yeah. So well, I think that from normal person point of view, I think I'm not sure if really they are interested in the technology or what is behind. I think what we want to have is services that work, but in order for let's say politicians or let's say governmental structures to be changed, there needs to be a certain amount of awareness and interest and positive attitudes amongst the big crowds towards any technology. And then I think that's why the normal crowds education and raising the awareness in a positive way is good for blockchain and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, because then they are anyhow kind of electing or making the decisions that who are in the power. And I think that that's one way to kind of let's say move forward with this new technology and all good that it can bring.
I would like to jump in there, with proposals like in the hands-on thing that we will want to demonstrate as well in this occasion, that we have different kind of plans, like to give everyone who comes into summit their own wallets and cryptocurrencies, and that their interaction would start not just like we talk a lot this and that, and so that's what's happening over the chat box internet. But when people come together, then they should do something like this kind of play, that they play with the play money or they play with the real money, but the thing that they will do something what will create the change, that's important. How we have once-off situation now to start like this thing to engage the people, and that will happen now that we do a program that everyone getting to the summit will really have hands-on. Otherwise, we would lose an opportunity that we are still designing that, and we won't decide necessarily within this hour here, within this talks now, but we can kind of start the conversation in that way and take it then further and develop and do in the publication that if you follow summit pages, you will see the like the idea or the red line or whatever dotted line you call it, that what is happening here now, that the thing is really happening. That's kind of the idea from my point of view, that I have like asked all these different people to come together and we do something great together.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And to that end, I would also call on we have 14 live viewers right now, and we have 6 likes. So if the rest of you 8 could also like, so we can get more and we can spread the good word. And do participate. I'm sure you have some questions about the event. At least you can ask those. You can also ask us our personal stance on different blockchains or any projects. Let's keep it casual. I think we already said pretty much what our agenda was, and now I would really like to continue this conversation about the future of blockchain and where we're going and what are the technologies that we should be focusing on. And yeah, the floor is free, so go ahead. And yeah, the audience, please keep putting the questions in the chat.
Yeah, so I mean, I belong to the camp where Vitalik Buterin is as well. Is that the only way blockchain can become transformatory technology is that the use cases and general applications will broaden and the mass market will adopt it. You know, and in order for the mass markets to adopt it, that doesn't come from speculative trading. It comes from increasing the use cases of cryptocurrencies to other things than that. So from my point of view, the future of blockchain belongs to those blockchains and solutions that are enabling a common person to do things or machines to do things easier than they did before by using a virtual currency or a blockchain solution. And that is still a ways ahead. I think there's plenty of quite promising applications on that field, but none of them are yet seeing the kind of mainstream adoption that we would need to actually make a big difference. I do think that by end of 2019, we will see the first ones that are actually broadly used. It's hard to predict which ones, but we absolutely need them.
I just came back from the Baltic Honey Badger conference, which might be one of the most interesting and most cutting edge conferences in the Bitcoin space. And talking to all these amazing developers there was absolutely mind-boggling. And there is so much innovation going on in this field of permissionless innovation, where you can simply do. And that talking to Adam Back about upstreaming now satellite payments through the Blockstream satellite network, for example, is quite nice. But then on the software side, for example, I absolutely love wallets like Wasabi, which really focus on fungibility, which is a key aspect of any money. And we want to have anonymous money, right? Absolutely. And further stuff, of course, coming with the Lightning Network and possible integrations here for just as one example, paying for advertising space per pixel per second or per pixel per click, because stuff like that is now possible. And magic internet money is truly magical, and I have no clue where we will be next week.
Yeah, that's a great point about the different wallets, and I would really like to make a show about those. And you are pretty knowledgeable on those, and I'm always super curious, especially about the hardware wallets. And this is something that I do think needs the most work as well, because this is the interface that I have that somewhere, but I've just recently moved, so my cold card is probably somewhere in transit still. So sad face for me. But it'll turn up, and I'll make my own unboxing video. But yeah, definitely something that needs definitely a lot of work, because that will be the most important interface, of course, for any user to use your wallet. To be able to use your Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, you need to be able to operate your wallet efficiently, safely, and most importantly, in terms of adoption, it has to be easy. It has to be super easy, like one click full nodes kind of a situation. And we are, of course, far cry from that. But yeah, like I keep saying, it's the internet of 1994, and before Netscape. We need the Netscape for Bitcoin, and then I think we're going to see some growth.
I think the other Mikko had a requested a speech for this, like, so go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I have talked a lot with the Ethereum developers about Ethereum applications, and also with those who have developed application for Finnish officials to do something local thing, but which requires a network of trust, and it is not very far away that they could be able to choose the public Ethereum network as a platform. Now, if we think mostly the problems or the obstacles which have been heard so far, they are not ideological in many cases, but just pragmatic, that they think that whether they can trust that the for example Ethereum network stays in a way stable enough that the transaction time can be predicted and the costs does not run away. While I think they many of them already see that Ethereum and especially Bitcoin are not going to disappear anywhere, that they are very trustworthy. But just what comes to end user application with Ethereum, for example, is that it's very simple and pragmatic thing, because there are many the great thing of blockchain which can work as an application platform with Ethereum now to speak, is that as we all, most of us, this audience knows, that even a small company can exercise maximal trust because of the network. but and there are many applications which would be very useful to ordinary people right now, but there's just one little thing which make it practically impossible, and it is just that you one must pay Ether in order to pay for gas before he or she can do anything pragmatic, and that makes it practically impossible. If someone introduces a clever solution to this thing, then the whole world of Ethereum application would be open to public, and because most of the applications, they are already very understandable, that okay, I can make a deal with someone and that's recorded in the blockchain, and that's great. Or I can take an image and get it timestamp it in Ethereum blockchain, and such things that people need, but to pay Ether in order to enter this.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
thank you.
I would like to comment on. We've developed our token initially in Ethereum, and then we moved it to Stellar for that is one of the main reasons why we did that, because the user experience on Ethereum was impossible to fix. Like there was when we look at this, we already built a sidechain approach for the wallet so that the user experience can be reasonable for the end users. But then we started looking at how do we connect that with the Ethereum network, and it was just no way to do this in a way that would make it anyhow reasonable for the end users to handle this. So I think Ethereum is gonna get a lot of competition from EOS, which is a decentralized platform that does not require this kind of thing. So you can do the transactions on the EOS network with those smart contracts without having to involve EOS on it. And the same is in Stellar's case. Yes, there is a Stellar fee that is required, but the fee is so low that when you create a federated account system where you manage it for the users, you don't have to worry about it. So in our case, for example, we create a wallet for our users, and if the users use our wallet, the transactions are for free. There's no charges. If they want to use the decentralized wallets, they will have to have a Stellar balance. But if they have a Stellar balance on that wallet, they will never have to worry about anything, because the fees are so small that they will not eat out that balance. So the only thing they need to do is one time balance, and that's it. And they can run it forever. So I think that that's one of the biggest problems going forward for Ethereum as a platform, is that I do not see that they can fix these problems regarding the end user experience anytime soon. Probably takes until 2020 before they can be fixed, and I think it's going to be a big problem for them.
Absolutely, that is one issue with Ethereum, and another one is that good luck trying to run a full node, right? Good luck using this network trustless, because I don't think it's possible. Mikko, you're about to say something.
Yeah, Mikko, just talk. I think it was the other Mikko that was trying to speak here, right?
I'm sure that this problem, as you said, that 2020, but that's almost next year. If we try to see long-term development for the blockchain, I'm sure that there will be. This is my prediction. Within 10 years, there will be a few public blockchains which serve the bitcoins and then these cryptocurrencies, but application platforms as public networks, which are somehow different and serve different purposes. And of course, there will be these private blockchains which live their own life within their communities, whatever they are. But I would see that soon someone solves these. These are children diseases what we are suffering right now, and they will be cured soon. I'm positive with that, and I would like to work on this convincing people in various positions to think that these what we have seen now and which has been in yellow papers, they are only children's diseases. Yeah, thank you.
When it comes to these Ethereum's child problems and things, the problem is that the blockchain industry is so fast moving that my prediction is that majority of current Ethereum coins will be dead before they have fixed these problems. And as I said, you give 2 years of time and most of them will be dead. And some of them will move to other blockchains. And eventually Ethereum will probably figure out their problems. So I'm relatively positive about that. The question is that will they figure them out fast enough before the other blockchains take over as the platforms?
Yes, you are right. At least there will be painful hard forks to be expected, I guess.
Yeah, I would also agree. Most of the projects will just simply go to zero. Maybe not to zero, but at least will be very worthless. I mean, kind of like in the internet, in the dot-com boom, a lot of hype. People want to make the money, or the fresh money. People think first and foremost that the new technology is a catch-all solution for everything, makes everything fast, makes everything secure. One is in fact very limited in use, blockchain technology that is. So what do you actually need blockchain technology for? That is, I guess, something that we can all disagree on. And for us, at least for me, the most important function, maybe the only function of useful function of blockchain is censorship resistance, and the fact that you can't change it. Nobody can change it. Nobody can change the total supply of Bitcoin. Nobody can confiscate your funds in any way if you take care of your private keys. So for me, if you don't need such a strong censorship resistance, I do think most times you will be better off using another centralized, more efficient service. What do you guys think?
Oh yes, absolutely. The use case of a blockchain is really limited because after all, it is a slow database. It is a really slow database that works on hundreds of thousands individual computers, right? This means that in order to justify these tremendous costs and these huge latencies, you really need to, well, say why you need this censorship resistance. And if you do not need it for your CryptoKitty app, or any other decentralized application, by the way, there are no decentralized applications, then you really need to justify these. And if you cannot, use a SQL database. There's nothing wrong with that. Not everything needs to be on a blockchain, right? If it's not useful, the tool, well then do not use the tool, but rather use these tools that make your product the best product. Because that's what fundamentally we entrepreneurs do, right? We allocate all the resources that we have at our disposal, and then we go out and allocate them to the most sufficient need. And we try to bring the best product to the end consumer. And oftentimes blockchains are just not useful for that, but sometimes they are, and then they are justified.
If I could have a word for the coming back to the summit and back to the question that which kind of audience, what's the most potential audience that we can attract, and what are the measures like that we can attract the people that I was like last week, I think it was Tuesday, Wednesday, or was it? Oh, it was a previous week. The time is going so fast. So there was the Pocket Game 2018 Helsinki, and this gaming industry, they announced some competition, and there were like the 3 winners. They got like more than $100,000, or actually they got 5, 10, and 20,000 US dollars. Then they got 10, 20, and 30,000 Alto dollars, and then within the games, some other cryptocurrencies, they were rewarded. It was very interesting to see that there was like it was fourth time in Finland, and it was first time blockchain and cryptocurrencies was in this exhibition, and people just to come and understand the thing that this is kind of the future, and that they want to already to go in that direction, develop their games, that they have the blockchain aspect in which way they have it, and that they support it, and this is kind of the killer things to me to attract, like in this gaming industry, all those young people looking future, their own future there in programming and in different kind of things, that what could they do, or they have exciting ideas and how they could use the new technology. So this angle, I think a little brainstorming would be nice to our event, that especially in this Helsinki hall. So it's one of the 5 programs that what would you think would be the best way to attract this kind of crowds, that I understand the ICO pitch, we could get like 300, 400, 500 people even, but still we need another 300, 400, 500 people. I'm calling for ideas, please. Which audience and which ways we attract them to the Helsinki Summit 2018?
I want to first address, Max mentioned that there's a compromise to be made in the long latency from the blockchain. Now that I've seen the light with Stellar, I disagree with that. Like, the latency, of course, is more than with the centralized database, but when it goes below 5 seconds, it's not a problem anymore. So these kind of problems of latency will go away. The problem of expensive blockchain is going to exist to some extent. But when you have these blockchains that have almost zero transaction costs or zero transaction, that will also go away. So now the only thing left for to be solved is that how to run meaningful applications on top of it, because those applications will require at least some centralization to be able to run. So it's very hard to see that you have completely centralized platform that can run large applications on it, because they consume so much like computing power. So from my point of view, I think we need to see some kind of hybrid solutions between this, so where you can run a centralized application that is connected to blockchain in some meaningful way, and you can run this heavy lifting part of the application on the centralized servers, and then you can run the decentralized part of this application on the blockchain. When it comes to this game thing, I want to mention what Markus, this is good that you brought it up, because I have this as an integral part of my statement to the Committee for the Future of the Parliament regarding the cryptocurrency taxation. I mentioned games as a virtual currency platforms, where currently they are not taxed as currency, because in the games they are all silos, and you cannot return money back to the game to other users. However, this is changing. Now we go into these virtual worlds, where people are going into these worlds to transact with each other, to buy houses in the virtual world, to buy virtual cars or virtual clothing. All of these things that are coming into the play will change this completely, and we have to be prepared for that, and we have to have a regulatory environment for these kind of applications to flourish.
Okay, guys, Max needs to duck out, and I think we're gonna wrap up soon as well. We have about half an hour time left. But Max, do you wanna say your final words? Maybe a short rebuttal to what Mikko said, and then please let everybody know again where to find you and your awesome shows. Go ahead, Max.
Well, first of all, thank you, Niko, very much for having me, not just here on this panel discussions and some of the previous videos, but also to the entire team for the invitation to speak at this conference. I really appreciate it, and I'm really looking forward to it, to engage in fruitful conversations and discussions like this one. And again, this is highly important and very much needed, right? So debate and discussion is always good. where can the people find out a bit more? My Twitter is @HillebrandMax. My personal website towardsliberty.com, and I do a bunch of content on the YouTube platform and independent open source or news network, the World Crypto Network. And Thomas Hunt and I just finished a long weekend at the Riga conference, the Baltic Honey Badger conference, which was absolutely outstanding. And we had the great honor of interviewing several of the attendees and speakers. And many amazing projects have been introduced. For example, the new Lightning Hack Day in New York. They did their announcement on the World Crypto Network. The new slush pool, Brains OS, which is open source software for hardware miners, which is amazing. They also did their announcement of their new web software on the WCN. The next Honey Badger conferences were announced, both. The next Honey Badger conference in Riga, and there will be another one in Prague. Sorry, not in Prague, but in Africa, which will be nice. So lots of good content on WCN, and I'm glad to be a part both of the WCN and also of the Konsensus Ry network. So thank you again for having me, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to November.
Awesome. Thank you, Max, for your participation and insight as always, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, so that was Max. So yeah, like I said, we have about half an hour here, so I wanted to go back to what Markus floated, and great idea about the video games, and also what Mikko contributed. Just a quick reminder for the people who are still watching, we have 16 people, so we've actually accumulated a couple. That's fantastic. We have 10 likes, so do hit the like button. That's awesome. And do drop us some questions. We are going to address all of your questions in the last 10 minutes or so before we sign off. But before that, and while you're thinking about those questions, let's just finish up with this topic about this how to get the correct people. Maybe not the, well, of course the volume of the people is also meaningful, but moreover, I would want to see the correct people to arrive to this event and learn about this technology. And I do think the game industry is key here to get them interested in this kinds of let's say that you have in-game money or in-game scarce goods, for example. I think that's going to be a very attractive way to lure gamers in the future. So I think it should be an easy sell to make. So if anybody's watching and into game industry, definitely come and check the event out. It will probably be worth your time, and also spread the word on that. So yeah, I'm happy to talk a little bit more about these video games. Do you guys have any more points you want to highlight on that?
Yeah, so having background both in the games industry and blockchain industry in general, I mean the point has to be that what is the, like, because in games currently the main monetization mechanism that they're using in the free-to-play games, which is currently about 82 billion out of the a little bit more than 100 billion total games market size. So it's already like about 80% of all money that is being made on the games is coming from free-to-play games. In those cases where the free-to-play is the model, the main mechanism of monetizing the game is selling virtual currency to the users. It can be also direct sales of virtual goods, but most often these games are selling the currency first, and then you can spend the currency as you wish to all of these different goods within the game. And now, if that becomes something that is not anymore a individual silos, that you have like these games that are just being in those silos, but there's actually some kind of interoperability or tradability of these items that are out there, that it goes beyond this individual game ecosystem, where you can, let's say, you can create some value in the game, you can sell it back to euros and some other place, which I think will be the case as soon as we are in the virtual world kind of game modes, because that's the way of creating like this kind of mixed reality worlds where you can roam between the real world experiences and these virtual reality experiences. And this in itself will drive huge adoption of different type of virtual currencies. So I think it will be a driver of more cryptos to come into play. I mean, the implementations of those currencies could in some cases be centralized, but I think it's a massive opportunity for lots of different parties, and I think we have to be vigilant in pushing regulatory changes to enable this kind of business models to exist, because if that's not supported with the current regulations, I think there's a big risk for the Finnish ecosystem to lose the whole game industry at some point, which is not necessarily even that distant future. So bringing in all these games people to this kind of conferences to basically talk about these topics and and explain like how they see the future evolving, I think it's going to be super valuable.
Yeah, well said. And the exodus has begun. Like the industry is already leaving, not just game industry, but the blockchain industry never had a really chance to settle here. As far as I know, no startups really truly considered even founding here. So that just goes to show that while there might be some kind of regulation in place, it's certainly not you can't rely on the regulation to function a certain way, which means you simply can't take that kind of a business risk, which is fully understandable. And this is, I think, something that the regulators need to understand and respect as well, that the business people will simply not risk regulation that is not 100% clear. So I do think there's a great point there. Jussi and other Mikko, do you guys want to chip in here as well? Don't let us hog the floor.
Yes, if I may. In addition to ICO pitching, I think because Finns are a little bit shy, and there are still many like blockchain pilots have been running around, mostly exotic or not perhaps exotic, but surprising is that I was called from Valio, the dairy company, that they are interested in blockchain, and for a second I was thinking that how are cows and blockchain related, but of course it's about logistic and the supply chains or so. But this only tells that there is not just the financial sectors, but many other sectors who are kind of studying and making small pilots. So perhaps if we can somehow put like a low threshold forum, like a forum for blockchain pioneers or miscellaneous blockchain pioneers, to encourage them to join our conference.
Yeah, I think we are the blockchain pioneers in a way. We are the trailblazers, and like what Markus said earlier, the nerds are always kind of like the flag bearers. So it starts like this, and it's super difficult, and we have to do a lot of work to just get people to notice us, that there's something happening, and still it will be difficult to build consumer grade products, and I think maybe the demography simply isn't there yet. But that's why I feel like the game industry is the golden ticket here.
But what I mean that like more conservative in the industries, because also including the financial sectors, that there are many like small insurance companies which are thinking that, and perhaps they have tried something or had something. So if they could just come together and share their experiences in some sort of low threshold gathering during the conference. I don't have any more specific idea, but it just appears to me because I know that there are many who are. They have never advertised themselves, but they do have some ideas of blockchain and even tried something.
If I could jump in there, So I think
Yes.
like what's interesting is in the Helsinki day that we will be telling like in these rounds that we did to the authorities between the second jump and this third one now. So we got many ideas across with the stakeholders in this country that allows like things to happen. Like Niko, you said that there are those uncertainties. I think we can win these uncertainties in these incubator places, if they are called campus or village or valley or whatever. In these places where people come together, especially in Helsinki, we have proposed ideas that we could get from the finance authorities, their logos and stamps to put in the doors, like where these people are sitting together and creating these blockchain ideas, and we will have new kind of data transfer with the authorities in the way that they are interested to learn what could they regulate if they don't know how the thing functions. They want to learn. This is a big purpose for the summit as well, that the authorities are very welcome to see what is the scenery here, how it functions, not just in this summit, but in the continuation of these different locations, specified locations that have budgets that the startups can be there in weekly places, like we know Flux, and there will be others as well, Helsinki supported places. Helsinki wants to lure, that's why we have the East Blockchain Gateway as well. We'll want to lure from other countries as well, plenty people start to do startups, and we are building like this scenery with the ideas that we have got together, that we are like developing here to the next level. And this is happening now in the coming 2, 3, 4 months, that I'm sure that there is a big difference from today. In 4 months time we have like possibilities to the business as such, to the startups, that this scenery is changing here, and it's we are helping it a lot, that it is changing. Without all this it wouldn't change, and we just have to do even more, and it changes more.
Yeah. So Jussi here. One thing that how could we actually try to get more people into this seminar or this event is basically by making a joint effort in our social networks, and then that would be something we would have some like a social media, a short social media plan that would then be synchronized with each other, so that there are networks that we are sharing and networks that are mine and Mikko's and Markus's, so that if we could make kind of a plan and then just support and share other posts, so then it would create a lot of traffic, and that would then might get more people into the seminar in November.
Yeah, I think those are all great points, and especially since you mentioned the Asian gateway, so to speak. And to that end, I just got a call from these Neo blockchain people. They are they're having a meetup in Helsinki in Microsoft Flux, and I did promise to shield that meetup in this show as a favor to a friend. So I'm gonna just chill it here, and if there's anybody, I think there's some people who are still into Neo in the community, and they are looking for somebody to speak there on behalf of Konsensus, perhaps, or you can speak on behalf of yourself or your company, doesn't matter. Point is, they are looking for somebody to speak. I myself, I don't think I can make it. It's the 2nd day of October. Oh, sorry, I didn't share the screen yet. Here you are. So I'm just gonna quickly show you this, and I also dropped the link in the chat, so you can check out the program and everything. I used to be into Neo back in when it was still Ant shares, but I sold my stack away, so I'm not that much into Neo anymore. So I'm not that knowledgeable either. But in case there's people who are into this in the audience, then please consider. And if you want to speak there, just contact me, and I'll definitely hook you up. I think it can be arranged rather easily, because it's like 1 week from now. I don't know who they're gonna get. But yeah, that's the shill I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do any more shills except for, of course, the blockchain summit, which we've been shilling basically all the time here, which is great. I'm still super psyched about the event, and I do think we need more and more events like this that have people from all sides of the, because we have this is a vast topic, the blockchain and this technology. You have to understand such many things, such as like human psychology, game theory. You have to understand computer programming, logic. You have to understand economics. You have to understand law. All these kinds of things. So definitely not an easy topic to tackle. And yeah, we are happy to provide all the help and assistance we can. We have about 15 minutes of time left. So if you have any more questions in the chat, please do leave us a like, and I'm just gonna start the last final round for the panel. So please feel free to have your final say, and then we have a little bit of a chat, and then I think we're gonna wrap up here. So floor is free, go ahead.
So was there any questions from the audience yet? I did not see it from my screen, like anything.
I don't believe there's any questions yet. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so the blockchain summit is one thing, but coming back to this this like generic awareness of virtual currencies and their importance in society. One of the things that I want to raise here is that I've been thinking how these things can be made more visible. So it's quite unlikely that any of the guys who are currently applying for to participate in the general elections in Finland in the coming spring, that they would have a platform regarding virtual currencies. I would say that that's probably not a mainstream enough thought that it would have any effect on the elections. So raising that as a topic on the elections is very, very difficult. So I think what we should try to do is to get at least one or two fundamentally, like I said, like this kind of like major articles, or either even like, if not articles, like a TV, like a studio TV discussion in Finland about the topic of virtual currencies and how they're going to shape the future. Because if we get this into the mainstream awareness, I think that will help a lot any kind of cause that we have also with the officials. And I think it's about time to do that. I mean, it's already interesting enough, as a topic. It can be seen a little bit futuristic for general population, but I think they will be interested about it at this point, if you can create the right forum for this.
Yeah, I do agree. We need something like CryptoKitties for it to be palatable enough for the masses. Sound money just doesn't work, because to understand what is sound money, you should first understand what is unsound money. And I don't think most people understand how fiat money system works. Certainly, I didn't understand a couple of years back. So I can only imagine how it is for most of the people. So that's a major hurdle we have there with the monetary evolution. But we might be able to get the people, like I mentioned earlier, hooked into the technology with these other benefits this technology can provide besides the money. Obviously, for me, the money is the most important part, but for a lot of people, there's more to it, which is fine, which is all good and fun, and it's fun for me too. I'm a gamer as well, so I enjoy those things, and I really want to see how the gaming industry is going to take these cryptographic assets as a part of these games. It might actually take me back to playing some games, and really interesting to think.
Thanks, Niko. And coming back to Mikko, that I'll take the ball from there. What you said, that it's really important. We need some prime TV time, and you welcomed yourself into the show, and I'll look that we get few others, and we can promote as well, like the event here, but that we need this our society program kind of that to make the society little bit more ready. And it is with the during this I have got like 50 new friends in the Vero, so in our tax office things following us, and your paper that you have produced, and all these efforts, that these are exactly the right steps, and we need these public talks, like, definitely.
Here, if there's an opportunity of speaking in public about this topic, because I think I can speak about it in a clear term that the persons can understand it. I just want to make sure that the general awareness of these topics is raised, because the thing is, when the public understands it properly, it's already too late. So it's better to have this awareness early than having it too late from the points of view of global competition.
I fully agree with Mikko. I think this awareness thing is very important, and then also as a like say blockchain forum or consensus, I think this kind of educational aspect is important, not only for the geeks, but especially for the crowds. And this is I think it's a good idea. This kind of get this TV show or whatsoever, like as a goal, and try to be as active in the media as possible. But awareness is the key. After that comes interest and desire to do something.
Yeah, definitely. And we can, if people want, we can make another video like this. We can make multiple videos with a little bit better production quality, and we can pre-shoot those and tell a little bit more about those things. Definitely, whatever it takes to get this event on the road. This was just because I had a cancellation, so we whipped up this in kind of a hurry. But I've enjoyed the conversation greatly. So thank you for the panel, for awesome ideas, and this awesome event that is mainly organized by Markus. So huge thanks goes to him for providing this opportunity for all of us. So yeah, that's awesome. And I think we should with that we should start to wrap it up. So if everybody can just give their final words, and then just let people know where they can find more about you. For instance, I'm pretty active on Twitter. You can find me with Omnifin, double N at the end. You can drop me a line. I'm also active on Telegram. So you can find me there on Konsensus RY for Finnish and Konsensus EN for English. And I'll be moderating those groups, and we have several other groups also on Telegram. So, and you can also drop me a line on email, nico@omnifin.com. So yeah, go ahead, panel. Final words, and then where can people find more about you?
Okay, I guess nobody took that line first, so I'll go first. So yeah, I'm most active on LinkedIn. So send me a LinkedIn invite to linkedin.com/in/Alasaarela, and Twitter is @Alasaarela. So generally I can be found from most platforms with my surname, including Telegram. And yeah, you can also join the InToken chat channel on Telegram by t.me/InToken, and that's the Stellar token I was talking about during this conversation. Yeah, that's it from my part. Thanks, Niko, for organizing this, and I was glad to be this really nice conversation. And I think we have plenty of more conversations to come, and looking forward to the conference on November.
Awesome. Thank you, Mikko, for being part of it again. And we've been shooting videos with Mikko also off live, which are still on my cutting table. Apologies for that, but you'll be seeing some more of Mikko for sure on this channel
Apologies
as well.
to you. I think I still owe you one audio file for that as well.
It is possible.
But it's kind of nice to release. It's nice to release like a video from the summer during the winter time, so just to like give a better vibes.
It's true. It's gonna be a nice video. I'll take my time with that. So yeah,
Okay.
Markus, where can people find more about you?
Yeah, I can be found in LinkedIn. Their normal LinkedIn path and Lehtosen Markus, but the easiest is like the blockchain forum, blockchainforum.fi or blockchainforum.eu, and here they are all linked that you find from one place to the others. So there you find the summit, there you find all the information for the tickets and the reducted prices, and we'll do campaigns. There is now early bird campaigns, so please check them out. And Niko, it was awesome that it came just yesterday, I think, this cancellation that we could step into this program, and thanks for our guys as well that you came so quickly in. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, of course, we move fast in here, and I can whip up a stream in a day. It might not be the best well planned, but I do enjoy the impromptu conversations and kind of like it makes it more real for me. I like this kind of fireside chat style more personally, and yeah, I would be happy to hear the audience's opinions as well. Jussi, where can people find more about you?
Yeah, so I'm in LinkedIn and well, just normal route, and then I'm in Twitter, Jussi_Simolin, and then my daily job is at InnoDuel, so jussi.simolin@innoduel.com, so making life better through participation. And yeah, I think what we've been mentioning in the end here is that this awareness campaign, I think I'm fully supporting that. Education and awareness, learning, those are the things that I'm really interested in with blockchain.
Thank you for that. And finally, Mikko, where can people find more about you?
Thank you. Yes, from LinkedIn, I posted the LinkedIn profile link, but just Mikko Valjakka in LinkedIn. And I'm always interested in discussing blockchain both in business and in technical level, and application development is one thing, but I've been sharing a lot of articles in LinkedIn, both in business and in technological point of view. Thank you.
All right, guys, that was awesome. Thank you so much for the panel again, for entertaining our guests here. We still have 15 live viewers, which is great. Do stay tuned. I hope you guys remember we have another show starting after this, a trading show at the Consensus Trading Academy. It's going to be Sensei Elliot there for with another episode for you. He started last week, so this is the episode 2. It's going to be in Finnish. So definitely check it out if you're into Bitcoin TA in Finnish this time. And if you're into Bitcoin TA or any kind of TA in English, contact me and I'll hook you up with a English TA a slot on the Konsensus Network for sure. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the panel. Thank you for all the likes, all the love, and please give us all the suggestions. And yeah, I'm looking forward to making more of these shows. And I'll see you guys next time.